Welcome to the S&R 411 podcast. I'm with my co-host, President-elect Sam Olson.
And I'm with my co-host, your president, Garrett Lepire. And Garrett, I know you have seen that number on social media that's banging around that says that 72% of members of the National Association of Realtors had zero transactions last year.
I've seen it.
I've seen it. We've both seen it. And we're seeing people kind of run with it and say, oh, look at how good I am and all this. So I was curious. We're not an exact mirror of NAR.
Correct.
So our good friends at the Northern Nevada Regional MLS compiled these numbers for us, and I've got some good news.
Let's hear it.
It's only 21% of our membership did not transact last year. 21% of our 3,500 members.
Correct.
Which is pretty fantastic.
I completely agree with that. It's definitely not 71%, a long shot from 71%. Still probably a little too high. We want to see that number be 10%, maybe, right in that range.
We've got to give a little bit of grace to the new members who are coming in and getting started.
Yeah, of course.
And they're year-end numbers. So if somebody joins in November, they're going to count in that year. And there's also one thing to bear in mind is these numbers include our affiliate members.
Right.
It includes appraisers.
Yep.
So that's going to affect the numbers a little bit. But when our friends over at the MLS shared these numbers with me, I was super excited just to see our agents, our members are doing fantastic business.
Correct.
We had something over 9,000 registered transactions on the MLS last year, which is a majority of the transactions that happen in our area.
Correct.
And then our members are doing really well. And there was an interesting stat that came out that I wanted to share with you.
Let's hear it.
The top performers in the marketplace is about 16%. It's about 16% of our members are doing about 60% of the business, though. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And I don't want anybody who's watching to get disheartened by that. Well, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. Those top performers, I'm in that group. But I got a confession to make.
What's that?
I'm in that group because I'm a team leader.
Right.
And because of the operation of my team and how our workflow goes, I get partial credit for everything my team members do.
Right.
So bear that in mind. And also understand that for a lot of our agents, they're just growing into their career. Everybody, well, this was your first career. It's for most folks, this is a second career. So they're relearning a whole new skill set. So these numbers just made me so optimistic to see. And I wrote them down. But what are your thoughts?
So, the 80-20 rule is something that gets talked about a lot. And 80-20 rule for people out there is 20% of the people do 80% of the business. And that's about where we're at.
Close. We're pretty close. 16 and 60.
Correct. And that's not a disheartening thing. I look at that and I go, okay, great. How do I get into the top 20%? That's where 80% of the business is happening. What steps, what systems, what actions do I need to take as a real estate agent to get myself into that 20%? So it's not oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. It's how do I get there? And if you look at that group of the 20%, I guarantee that there's a ton of those people who would show you and help you, hold your hand along the way to get you into that 20% group. In that 20% group, for the most part, they're not always the same people. You got about half of that 20% that is that core group of people, but that other 10% is changing and fluctuating each year, which shows that there is that opportunity to grow into that 20%.
Well, and I know something about that group that I don't think a lot of people consider. Nobody in that group invented real estate. They all came in and they learned it, and they are all so willing to share. We have a whole bunch of folks from that group who are going to be on this podcast this year, sharing some of their tips and tricks. I hate saying tips and tricks. Sharing some of their systems and processes, which is how we say tips and tricks in real estate, on how they became top producers in our marketplace and across the country.
Correct.
And I would be willing to bet that a lot of those folks in there are members of the Residential Real Estate Council, who is a Sapphire sponsor of this very podcast and Sierra Nevada Association of Realtors. So I just wanted to give a special shout out to our friends at the Residential Real Estate Council and our certified residential specialists who support our work here at the association in supporting you growing up through these levels of sales and transaction sides so you can become very successful, and just reach out to any of them. They're all here to help.
Without a doubt. In that group, the RRC group, having a CRS designation, I'm a firm believer that having initials behind your name gives you more clout. And I tell you straight up, I walk into people's houses, I sit at their kitchen table, and I say, I have a master's degree in residential real estate. I'm a CRS.
Yep.
And I get to say that because that is the master's degree of residential real estate. So I encourage you guys to look into that, take their courses. It is only going to help you and benefit you.
No, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. CRS was one of the very first things that I wanted to get as a new agent, but it still took 5 years.
Correct.
Because there is a transaction component to it. There is an educational component to it. So to grow into being able to say with a straight face to your clients, I have a master's degree in this, is so worth it and so changing. But we digress from the numbers, but that's our personal plug for the CRS designation.
Yep. Go get your designation. So how in your mind, Sam, does someone come from that 21% who didn't sell anything, and how do they move up a tier or two in 2026?
Well, to move up one tier, it's easy. Sell one thing.
Yes.
The next tier is, gosh, what do we have in there? We have about
4 to 10.
Yeah, we've got 35% of our members, 1 to 3 transactions.
Yep.
So it's not a ton of work to be moving up. The biggest thing, this is a job. Show up and treat it like work, and the work will come back and benefit you. We have a podcast coming up where somebody's going to be saying something very similar to that.
Yep.
Find your niche and just consistently do it.
Correct.
We've all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the consistency beats intensity every single time in the long run.
Correct.
Like sprints are great,
Yep.
but if you got to go far, you got to be consistent.
Correct.
So find whatever business opportunity our members who are looking to move up these tiers and become top producers in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years.
Yep.
They just got to pick something and do it.
Correct.
And just lean in.
Well, and that's the thing too, is, if you look at the individuals on this list, they all do different types of real estate. Maybe not different types of real estate, but they all do real estate a little bit differently. Some people are buying leads. Some people are knocking on doors like crazy. Some people are cold calling people like crazy. Some people go to networking events, go out to lunch and coffee with people and build their network that way. And that's how they're generating business. But that's one of the things I love about real estate is there's so many different ways to do it. There's not one box that you got to fit into and make it happen. There's a lot of different ways to be successful in this business. Because
it is a human to human business. It's face to face, belly to belly, and everybody brings a complete unique skill set that they can start to build a life-changing business with.
Exactly.
Before we jump back into the conversation, we want to take a quick moment to thank our amazing sponsors over at Core Title Group. Their support helps make this podcast possible and allows us to keep bringing you valuable content every episode.
This industry has changed my life drastically.
Yep.
Have you ever been to Whole Foods?
I have.
You know how nice those shelves are, always nice and flat? Yeah. I supervised a team of human beings who went around and faced those shelves every night. That's what I did right before I got into real estate. It's shocking.
And I bet there was systems in place to make sure that those shelves look the way that they do, right?
I was the system. I went around and yelled at people making like $12 an hour. No, that cracker box is crooked. You didn't puff those chips right. But if I can do it, I'm not particularly smart, and I have no family history, and I'm not from here. But if I can do it, anybody can do it.
And that for me is such an impressive thing. I'm born and raised in Carson City. My family's been around for a long time. So there's some name recognition there. Maybe the name recognition that you want and some that you don't want. That's another story for another day. But that being said, I've always been really impressed by people who come into a marketplace that they did not grow up in, that they don't have tentacles and a network into, and they're able to grow a successful real estate business. That's hard to do.
It is hard to do, but it's so worth it. And here's the secret. I'm not going to tell you. You already know it. It's not difficult, but it's hard work. the systems and the processes that you choose to put into place to make your system grow or your business grow are going to be pretty simple. It's just doing them consistently. It's the consistency is the key. And I think that might be what we're driving home is 71% of our members did not sell a home. Most of our members sold a home last year, helped a family buy or sell.
Correct.
Helped somebody move up, move down, helped dispose of an asset after a passing, helped a family grow.
Yep. 79% of our members did at least one transaction. That's great.
That's fantastic.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So, and that goes into the fact of real estate. You got to treat it like a job. This isn't something, I know when I first started, I'm like, if I can get my name on a bus bench, maybe on a bus itself, someone's going to call me to sell real estate. It doesn't happen that way.
Nope.
It's a contact sport. You got to get out there and you got to get to people however you want to get to them. We just talked on, there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can knock on doors, you can cold call people, you can buy leads, you can go to every networking group in town and try to get business that way. And those are just the 4 or 5 things I can think of off the top of my head. There's a whole nother 50 things that you can do to generate business in real estate, but you have to be committed to it and you have to do it. And more importantly, have a plan. One of our earlier guests today talked about doing social media videos. And when you're doing it, when you first started, and this really hit home for me, when you're first doing it, you're like, I did a video. All right, great. I can check that off the box. I did my job for the day. Then you watch it and you go, well, who the heck am I talking to? Who am I trying to attract to me?
Exactly.
So being intentional with what you're trying to attract and the type of business that you're trying to build, for instance, if I'm trying to sell luxury real estate, well, then I want to try to attract luxury people who have those types of properties, who want to buy and sell those types of properties. If I'm looking for investors, I need to speak to investors. If I'm looking for first-time home buyers, I need to speak to first-time home buyers and drop knowledge on them. So finding that audience and being clear on that, everything gets a little bit easier when you find that piece out.
No. If only there was a place where you could come and get free education on how to grow your business. Like, I don't know, here at SNR, your association. And we have some great stuff coming up this year. We're doing this Realtor Pro Series, XL Series, where top producers are going to come in and just teach you what they did. Not only is it free, lunch is included.
Can't beat that. You get knowledge and free lunch.
And it ain't bad lunch. Nope. I almost said the name of the place. I can't say the name of the place, but it's good stuff. And I'm just so excited to see what these numbers look like next year after we implement all these things and start reaching out and helping give a hand up to our agents who are looking to move up and our members who are trying to become top 300, top 100, top 50, top 5.
Correct.
Those growers, those learners, those doers. That's why I do this.
Without doubt. And that's the cool part about real estate is when I wake up every day, I have no cap on how much money I can go make. I can literally go make 6 figures today. I can also make $0. It really depends on my commitment, the systems that I have in place in my business, and my intention of going forward with that commitment.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Great numbers.
Great numbers. So I'm just going to run through these real quick, just because it's good for people to know.
Stuff.
So 21% of our membership here locally at SNR did 0 transactions. So that means 79% did at least one. 35% of our members did 1 to 3 transactions. Not bad. 4 to 10 transactions was 27% of our membership. And then 11 to 22 transactions was 12% of our membership. And anyone that had 23 deals or more was in the top 5% here locally.
You can use that at your listing appointments. You can use that when you go on competitive buyer consults.
Yep.
Yep.
And more importantly, I know, back 7-8 years ago, I that year I think I did like 36 deals. I wasn't even in the top 10% of the membership. So it also shows there's less transactions happening, though, which doesn't make things easier. But it also shows that 8 out of 10 members did a deal last year. And how do I get to that place? How do I move up a tier? How do I get a few more deals under my belt? And part of that is leaning into the education and leaning into being committed to your business.
I have one more stat that I just saw. Dr. Yoon from the National Association of Realtors came out with a prediction, because we don't predict, but he does because he's a doctor. He's smart.
He's an economist.
He's got more stuff than we do. He says to expect our national market transaction side count to grow by 20% and our national membership count to shrink by 16%. If we shrink by 16%, then 100% of our members are going to be selling.
Correct.
We are here at the association committed to helping you stay in this game and to change your life.
Yep. And we've heard that message loud and clear, and we're excited to bring to you guys this year stuff that is actually tangible to your business. So above and beyond the free CE credits that we have to check that box to renew our license, we're going to offer educational courses that are not CE credits, because it's really hard to get these classes approved as CE classes. When it comes to, and anyone who's new in the business will get this, you go to real estate school, you learn all this stuff, and none of it is about how to make money in the business once you get your license. We're filling that gap. We're bringing you that information, bringing you top producers who are literally going to share, here's how I did it. Here's my blueprint. And all you got to do is follow it. Be committed to it.
It's easy.
Yep.
We didn't invent it.
We did not.
We just copied it.
So be on the lookout for those. You can see all of our course offerings at snr.realtor. And we want to help you grow your business. If you have questions, whether it's about the association or whether it's about how do I grow my business? Garrett, how do you prospect? How'd you get started? I'm happy to answer any of those questions. And I know Sam is as well.
100%.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next episode.